All right, welcome everybody. Come on in. The encourager. I like that. The encourager. I'm encouraged already. Welcome, Barry, Harumi. Good to see you. Welcome. All right, we have Elaine, Roxana, welcome. Timothy, welcome. We're gonna get started shortly, folks. Kinga, good to see you. Welcome, everybody. We have Christina's here. Good to see you.
Yep, good to be
Welcome.
here.
Yes. Welcome. Calvin, welcome. All right, this is going to be fun, folks. It's going to be fun.
Of course.
Roxana, that is colorful, Roxana. Thank you.
Thank you.
It woke me up.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you.
that. Jen, good to see you, Jen. Welcome. All right, folks. So we're going to get started about 3 minutes. Give some people some time to get on here. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm going to give you so much value today. You won't believe it. You'll be like, Eric, I need to send you a check. And I will accept. I'll give you.
I knew I was going to say that.
I used to say, don't worry about it. But now, I have kids in college. So like, yeah, go ahead, send it. Welcome, Simi. Good to see you. All right, so we're gonna get started. Sure, let me just check this. Okay, good. All right. I'm just curious, where's everybody zooming in from today? You can put it in the chat. Let's have an idea of where people are. Have an idea. Maryland. Okay, Maryland in the house. Los Angeles. All right. We have Indiana, Nigeria, England. All right, Maryland. Good. All right, great. So I'm gonna get started. I don't like to keep you waiting if you're already here. I like the smaller groups because we can ask questions and everything when we're done. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Eric F. King, and I have been in the sales arena for over 25 years. Oh my goodness. I used to say 20. I used to say 15, then I'm like, nah, it's more like 20. And I'm like, nah, it's actually more like 25. When you get older, you don't want to get older, but the kids want to get older fast, right? So I'm gonna share my story quickly. Let me just share my screen and then we can get started. Share my screen, we can get started. Okay. All right. I want to make sure everybody sees this. Thumbs up if you see it. Okay, good. All right. So I'm gonna show you how to 5x your sales without being pushy or salesy. And the thing is that when I say that, I actually mean it because I've done it over and over for many years, right? A lot of people think that sales is something that you're born with, or sales is something that, if you have the gift of gab, then you'll know how to sell. And none of that is true. And the reason why I know is because I was one of the worst salespeople you could ever meet in your life. In your life. And I'll start when I graduated from college. I went to Temple University in Philadelphia, and I wanted to get into marketing because I thought marketing was exciting, like advertising behind the scenes. So I got hired by Xerox at the time, and Xerox was a Fortune 500 company at the time. But Xerox told me that we are only hiring for sales. So if you do sales for 2 years, then you can go into marketing. And I was devastated. I was devastated because I'm like, I don't want to sell people. I mean, I'm a nice guy. Like, I can't be selling people, right? And I wasn't comfortable. But my dad, he encouraged me to do the job, and he said, just find somebody that sells the way you're comfortable selling, right? So first 60 days, I didn't sell anything, and usually people get fired between 60 days and 90 days. That's how it works at Xerox. You get fired between 60 days and 90 days. So I figured I'm gonna get fired, right? And then when my dad told me to find someone that sells the way I'm comfortable selling, there's a guy named Brian. He was one of the top sales reps. And one thing I liked about him is he never sold people. Like, it was like he was just making friends with people. And I'm like, I can do that. Like, I can just make friends with people and make money. Like, can I just follow you around, Brian? He said, yeah. So I started following Brian around. He was my first mentor. Okay, he was my first mentor. So we would go to these companies, we call them accounts, right? We go to these accounts, and Brian would just start talking to the people about everything under the sun except for copiers. We sold copiers, right? He won't talk about copiers. He would talk about, the game. He would talk about the summer coming up. He would talk about everything but copiers. And I'm like, when's this dude gonna talk about what we're here for, right? He would see a picture on the like on a mantle or something and say, "Oh, who's that?" Oh, so that's my wife. Oh, really? And then he was just talking. Say, "Oh, you know what? I have a picture like that of my wife on my mantle," and they just go back and forth, back and forth. So my first thing I realized is, you don't have to be a salesperson. You can just be a nice person, a good person, a real person, right? I said, okay, I can do that. I can do that. So we went to this account, and it was a big company. And we went to this big company, and he was asking them questions and everything about their copiers. And when he was done, he said, here's my card. He said, if you have any questions about, the industry of copiers, blah, blah, I'd be glad to help you. But you guys are in good hands with Canon. Canon was our number one competitor. And so we walked out. And I said, Brian, what are you doing? Like, we have all these things, all these copiers we can sell, and you told them that they're in good hands? He said, let me teach you something, Eric. I'll never forget. He said, if you can't help your prospect, don't take their money, because then you're worse off than before. Now, that's a lose-lose situation, right? You have to be able to help them, because they will appreciate the fact that you are not ripping them off. And he said, I get a lot of business from people I didn't sell. I'm like, really? Wow, that was eye-opening. So let me tell you how he actually sold, right? So we get there to these companies, he gets to know them, and then he would say something like, so yeah, I see that you have a couple copiers. Like, what do you like about your copiers? And it's like reverse psychology. People like to talk about the negative, not the positive. So be like, not that much. It breaks down a lot. Like, really? How often does it break down? And then they will tell them, right? And they're like, wow. So when it breaks down, what do you guys do when it breaks down? Oh, then we have to call service. Oh, really? Wow. So how long does it take from, between the time you call, it breaks down and the time service comes? Oh, it could be an hour. An hour? Wow. So, I mean, doesn't that slow you down? They're like, yeah, it slows us down. So what he was doing was called maximizing the problem. You find out what the problem is. And all of this is training. This is all training I'm giving you here, right? You find out the problem. So they're telling them the problem. And then he goes back to being Brian again and talking about everything but copiers. And now they're just getting to like him. They're just getting to like him. And then he says, okay, so what do you guys actually use your copiers for? And then he tells them, and then says, okay, so how many copies do you make? He's asking all these things, all these questions. And then finally he says, you know what? Based on what you said, we have a copier that I think could really help you. And they're like, really, which one's that? And then he'll show them. This is what he does. He'll say, well, there are actually two copiers, this one and this one. He'll tell them about this one, tell them about the other one, and say, which one do you prefer? And they're like, I like the second one. Like, okay, great. So he'll take, by the way, that's back in the 90s. We didn't have iPads. All right. So forgive me for you young people. We had order forms. Order forms. So he would have his order form, and he would personally tick off the copier they liked, right? Then he would say, okay, great. So here's what I'm going to do for you, because I know you guys will need at least 5 reams of paper, just to, so you don't, run out. Now, would you prefer 5 or 10? Like, what do you prefer? And I'm like, let's just go with 10. Okay, great. So he would tick that off. And then he'll say, you guys, I'm sure you'll need toner, because you don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste time ordering toner when after you check and there's no more toner. So we'll go ahead and order toner for you. Would 4 months worth be better, or 6 months? Like, let's go for 4 months. Okay. So now he's ticking everything off, and then he gets back to talking about everything else about copiers. He's just talking about all kinds of things, right? We call it building rapport. And then at the end, he goes, okay, great. So, this is what we have for you. We can have the copier delivered within 2 weeks. Yeah, just sign here. And I'm going to get you some stuff here. And while he's doing that, they're signing. And I'm like, oh my God, how did he do that? Because he wasn't selling. So here's the number one tip I learned. The last thing you want to do is sell. What you want to do is you want to get to know them, you want to find out what's wrong, and you want to give them a solution. So it doesn't even feel like anybody's selling anybody. You're helping them out, right? So that's when I realized that I can do this. I can do this. And then guess what? Within 18 months, I was one of the top reps in the whole region. I was in top 3%. I was winning awards. I was winning trips to Hawaii, all over the place. And I ended up selling over $31 million in products and services before I got into entrepreneurship, right? But it changed my life because all along I thought you had to be pushy. I thought you had to be a hawk, right? You have to be somebody that just don't let them leave until they buy. But it's actually the opposite. It's actually the opposite. Changed my life. And that's when I went into entrepreneurship, and it helped me in every business I was in. Then I found out that a lot of entrepreneurs don't know this. They don't know how to sell. All they know is I have a great product, I have a great offer, and I can help people, right? So they just get on the Zooms, and it's like, okay, this is how much it is. Are you interested? And they're like, well, I have to think about it. I'm like, okay. And so it's over, and they never get to sell. And it happens over and over and over, right? So today I'm going to show you my framework that I've created over the years. Now, mind you, I've sold almost anything under the sun. Like I started with copiers, then I sold office supplies, right? So anytime I walk into an office, I'm thinking, oh, I sold that, I sold that, I sold that, I sold that. It's weird, right? It's weird, right? So I sold office supplies. I had, at the time, I was selling small copiers. Then I ended up selling what we call the DocuTech. Those are the copiers you see at Staples, the $40,000 copiers. And then before I knew it, I had big accounts like Coca-Cola, where they're buying $1 million worth of products, 1.5 million. And then, then I got into business, and I started selling. My first business was a production company, and I started actually selling people the ability to speak about their products and stuff like that. That was a long time ago. But anyway, I use the same philosophy for everything I've ever sold. And if you've worked with me before, if you bought from me before, you realize that exactly what I teach is exactly what I do, right? So we're going to get into it today. But first, I want to share this. Everybody sells. So I don't want you to think, well, I don't sell. Like I'm just a business owner. No, you sell. If you don't sell, you're not helping anybody. Okay, so you have to change your mindset. You are a salesperson. You're a salesperson, but you're helping people. A newborn baby, when they're crying, they're selling. I mean, look, I have 3 boys, and they're teenagers now, so I can't carry them anymore. Especially since they're bigger than me. But back then, and back in the day, they would run up to me, and they'll be fine before I get home. Fine if I'm looking through the window. The second I get there, they start crying. Ah. And then guess what? I would have to pick them up. They just sold me. I'll have to pick them up, right? They're selling, right? So selling, really, it's not anything unusual. We all do it. When you tell somebody about a great restaurant, you're selling. You don't even know it. There's a restaurant up here called Ruth Chris, right? They have great steaks, right? Someone told me about it once, and I didn't even think nothing of it. Then, then she called me. She called me another day. She said, "Have you gone there yet?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, maybe I need to go." So I went there, and I'm like, "Wow, these are great steaks." So she sold me on it. The only thing is she didn't get paid, right? And a lot of times when we get paid for something, then we feel that we're doing someone a disfavor. So you have to change that mindset, right? The second we get paid, like if the restaurant starts sending her a check, she'll stop telling people. She'll stop telling people, right? Like, oh, I'm not telling anybody anymore, right? So some of it is a mindset shift, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. In my coaching, I talk about that for the first like 2 hours, but here I'm just going to talk about it a little bit, right? So selling is simply finding the problem that your prospect is facing and presenting an offer. Basically, that's all it is, right? You find the problem, you present an offer. All right. The number one goal of selling is to persuade someone. So there is persuasion, right? So I'm not going to say there's no persuasion. There is persuasion, right? You're persuading someone to make a decision that will solve their problem. If the prospect believes that your offer solves their problem, you made a sale, right? So there is persuasion. Absolutely. There's no convincing. I was on a call with a guy last week, and he's thinking about speaking on my stage. And he says, "Yeah, Eric, I mean, everything looks good. I watched the videos, I watched the testimonials. So I just want you to convince me." And I said, "I don't do that. Convince you? Why would I do that?" He said, "But I mean, don't you want me to like pay for it?" And I said, "Not if it's not the right fit for you. I've never convinced someone in 25 years." And he was looking at me like a deer in headlights, like, "What? No, the last thing I want to do is convince you, because you won't you won't enjoy what you're doing if I have to convince you, right?" So I said, what I told him, I said, "This may not even be the right fit. This may not be the right fit." And he goes, "What?" And he starts trying to convince me, like, "What do you mean? I can speak on your stage. I'm the right fit," right? So that's the thing. So you have to realize that you're helping people get what they want. You're helping people get what they already need. Basically, that's what it is. Whatever you're selling, you're helping people get what they already need. Let me do this. If everybody can just in the chat tell me your industry, because I like to be specific as much as possible. So just the industry. You don't have to tell me exactly what you do. Certainly don't put a link to your business or your company, but just the industry, so I have something to work with. Because I like to be as specific as possible. So just put it in the chat, your industry. Okay, great. Wellness, finance, insurance. Okay, perfect. Okay. Coaching, branding. Okay. Got branding. Coaching for single women. Okay. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Appreciate that. Okay. Cybersecurity. Okay, perfect. All right, so perfect. So one thing about me is anytime I'm teaching, I like to be as specific as possible so you can get value from it. Okay. And then, by the way, you can ask questions at the end also. All right, so this is my framework. I should like this right here. I should sell right here. I should charge you for this right here because this really, trust me, this have used to sell to over 30. It's more than 31 million dollars worth of products in the last 20 years or so. This is the framework. So one of the reasons why people are so fearful of sales is they look at it as this abstract thing where I just get on a call and I hope and pray they buy. So they don't even know where to start, what to do. It's like, hopefully I'll make the sale and I'll make money. There's actually a formula for it. There's a framework. There's a step-by-step framework on how to sell. And this is it. I actually wrote a book about it. I need to just put it on Amazon because it's already done, but I talk more about it. So it starts with the psychology of selling. The psychology. 90% of what people buy, they buy off of emotion and not logic. Sometimes people say, "Well, Eric, I'm all logic." No, you're not. You think you are. No, you're not. Right? You go and buy a car. You go to the dealership, and you like the car, but you're not really sure. And then the sales rep says, "Yeah, let's go for a test drive." So now you're going on a test drive and you're feeling it and you're enjoying it. He said, "Yeah, let's put the what do you call it? No, I totally forgot what it is. But anyway, let's put it down so you can tell the wind can blow on you, right?" So I can put in the chat. And then you're feeling it, and then you start imagining yourself. You start imagining yourself going to work in this car. You start feeling how it is. You start imagining yourself parking in front of church, because with the nice cars you park in front of church, right? But you don't park there. If you don't have a nice car, you don't park in front of church. You park 2 blocks away, right? Right. So yeah. So now when you get back, you think you're buying it because it's the kind of car you want and all that, but you're buying it because of the feeling you had when you were driving down the street, right? That's why they did it, right? That's why they did it. Sunroof, that's what it is, right? Sunroof. So that's why they did it. When so we built a house by the beach on a golf course. And I don't golf. I don't golf. But when we went there, the guy started talking about golfing. And I told him I don't golf. And then he pivoted. He pivoted because he knows about how to sell. He pivoted. And he asked the kids what they like to do. And my kids said, well, one of them said, I love playing basketball. Another one said, I love playing tennis. And then he started talking about how there's a basketball court there, there's a tennis, you can go play tennis. And he started talking about what we like. Now, I'm not thinking that way. I don't want to spend all this money building a house here on a Jack Nicholson golf course with an 18-hole golf course and spending all that money when I don't need to do that. I wasn't thinking about that. I'm thinking about how the kids are going to be happy. I'm thinking about all the things that he's making me think about, and it's more emotional, right? And we end up doing it. So now I have all this access to the golf, the range. I have all this access to the store, discounts, all of this, and I don't even golf, and I'm paying for it. Why? Because he got me with the emotion. He got me with the emotion, right? So it works, right? One thing you have to do with regards to the philosophy of selling is you have to believe in what you're selling and believe in yourself. Let me say that again. You have to believe in yourself and believe in what you're selling. Sometimes I'm talking to people and I realize they don't really believe in what they're selling. They don't believe that. They're like, yeah, this can probably help you, and hopefully, it'll work out for you. And I'm like, I'm not convinced. Like, I don't want to buy something if you're not excited about what you do, right? Someone, I get these calls all the time, but someone messaged me once and he said, he was telling me about a business opportunity and how we can make a fortune and all of that stuff. And I'm like, to me, it doesn't sound ethical what you're doing. He said, no, it's ethical, like technically. And he's talking about when someone starts saying technically, something's wrong, right? Something's wrong. So he said, but Eric, you'd be good at this. Like you can sell this for sure. And I said, I can't because I don't believe in it, right? So you have to believe in what you're doing and you have to believe in the offer. Once you do that, then you can start. If you don't do that, find something else to sell. So some of you know a lady by the name of Amberly. Some of you here know Amberly, and I can say this because she said it many times on the call. When I met her, she came to one of my meetup groups. Okay, I met her like 4 or 5 years ago, and she was selling something she did not like. She really wasn't into it, and she wasn't making much money, and she was struggling. So she ended up meeting somebody in the group who introduced her to the business she is now, right? The send out cards, right? She started doing that. She became one of the most successful reps in the country, in the world. Like she's like in the world, one of the top reps in terms of sales, in terms of recruiting, in terms of building that team. She's never been in that kind of business before. She just exploded. And she said, Eric, you know what it is? I found something I loved. So I wasn't selling. I just found something I loved. Right? She became so good at it and made so much money and helped her family out, right? Because she believed. So you have to believe. And I know it sounds elementary. Some things I may say that sounds elementary, but sometimes the simple things is what we don't even think about, right? And if you've heard something before, instead of saying I've heard it before, say, am I implementing it? Am I doing something with what I've learned today? Okay. So you find something you like, you believe in it, you're passionate about it, and then you can sell it. And you cannot worry about what people say about you selling what you're selling. Because people will say some stuff like, yeah, you sure you want to do that? People will talk you out of your own business. Your own business, they'll talk you out of it if you don't believe. So you have to have 1000% conviction, right? People say, well, Eric, who's your competition? I said, I don't have any competition. Like, what do you mean? Because nobody does what I do like I do it. Ask my clients. They're like, oh, wow. Because I have conviction. I believe in what I'm doing, right? I don't have competition. Nobody can compete with me. Nobody should be able to compete with you, right? So psychology of selling. Now, let's talk about leading the call. Leading the call is when you meet with somebody on a call. So I teach sales. I also teach marketing, but today it's all sales. So in other words, I'm not talking about how to get clients. I'm talking about once you have a prospect in front of you, either sitting in front of you on Zoom, this is what you do, okay? Lead the call. Have you ever been on a call before on a Zoom, and you're just about to get started, and the person gets on and said, okay, so Barry, yeah, so tell me how much this is and let me see if I'm interested. And now you're just talking about price. You're not even talking about what the offer is. And they totally throw you off. Like, yeah, I have 3 questions here. Number 1 is this, number 2 is this, number 3 is this. So what do you have to say? And you're like scrambling. You're like, okay, right? That's because you don't know how to lead the call, right? I was on a call with a lady who told me the meeting was for 30 minutes, and she said, Eric, I only have like 6 minutes, 7 minutes. I have to go pick up my kid. So can you just like tell me in a nutshell what it's all about? And I said, I can't do that. She go, what do you mean? I said, I can't do that. So first of all, I don't even know if you qualify for this, first of all. And second of all, what I have to share is too important to rush it. So here's what we can do. We can either reschedule, right? That's fine. Or you can tell somebody else, I don't know, your spouse or whoever, to pick up your daughter. It's up to you. And she looked at me like, okay, all right. Okay. So then we rescheduled and we did 30 minutes. The reason why I guess she was so taken aback is because salespeople don't talk like that. Salespeople are like, okay, I can do it in 6 minutes. I've done it before. Why would I do that? I believe in what I'm doing. I'm not going to go out. Why would I do that? I believe in what I'm doing. She's coming to get something from me. You got to believe in what you're doing, and what you have is so powerful that no one's going to rush you, right? And guess what? People are more likely to buy from you when they see that you are convicted about what you have. They're more likely to buy from you when they see that you believe in what you have. They're less likely to buy from you if they feel that they can push you around. They are actually less likely to buy from you. They're like, I don't know if I should buy from this guy. It doesn't seem that stable. It doesn't seem that stable, right? So leading the call. I can't get into a lot because, we only have about an hour here, but that's basically about leading the call. Then focusing on the prospect. Here's the deal. The number one reason why people are afraid to sell that I found over my 25 years is they're afraid that they'll sound pushy or salesy, right? Because they feel like they're taking, not giving. If I told you to call up someone maybe a friend, and say, you know what, God told me to bless you today, so I'm giving you $500 today. The person will be like, oh, okay, thank you. Now, would you be nervous calling that person up to give them that information? Probably not. Right? You won't be nervous. You'll be like, you'll be happy to call them. You won't have any nerves at all. But if I told you to call that same person, instead of telling him you're going to give him $500, tell him that you would like him to give you $500. You're not asking to loan the money. You just want him to give you $500. Your heart will be pounding before you make that call. You'll be like, oh my God, how am I going to put it to him? Wow. Like this is when you want to call him in the morning. Like, he's probably eating breakfast. I'm not going to call him yet. Let me call him later in the day. Right. Then it's like 10 o'clock. It's still early. At noon, it's probably eating lunch. I'm not going to call him while he's eating lunch. Like, you give yourself excuses, right? That's what we do when we don't believe, right? So if you think about helping people, the nerves goes away. It goes away because you're focusing on project. You're not focused on the deal. You're not focused on how much you're going to make. You're not focused on how you're going to pay the rent. You're focused on the person. Okay. And then advising the prospect. I don't consider it like people say, close the deal. It's close the deal. I like saying advising the prospect because you're giving them advice based on what they said. Right. So that's the framework. We're gonna get into it now. Okay. So traditional closer. This is what most people think about when they think of sales. Closing the sale at all cost, using high pressure tactics, being pushy or overbearing, tricking people into buying something that they don't even need. Okay, that's what most people consider sales. And if you look at sales like this, you will be horrible at it, because that's what I was. I was horrible at it because I thought this was sales. Right. So you have to take this out of your mind. tradition, this is not sales. This is not sales at all. You do not want to do this. Okay. Now, this is what you want to do. Compassionate closer, helping prospects solve their problems, helping prospects achieve their goals, creating a win-win situation, and having fun, right? So for me, I give value as much as I can. Like when we're done here, I'm going to tell you about my coaching program, and some of you will be interested and you'll want to be a part of it. Some of you may not be. Either way, everybody will gain something today, right? So you have to believe that you have to want people to be better off after they met you, whether they buy or not. Right. So, I know Dr. Wendy talks about finances and for like financial cure. That's her motto. Right. Now, when she's meeting with somebody, if she's thinking, okay, I need to make the sale so I can pay my mortgage, then they can see through that. Not that she would, not that she would, but if she's thinking, how can I help this person? Right? How can I help them with their finances? How can I help them not just build wealth, but save money or invest money or whatever it is? How can I help that child that just walked across? Right? How can I help them? Right? That's what separates you from people, from others. And when people see that you actually concerned and you want to help, they'll pay more. They'll literally pay you more because they know you care. Because they know you care. Right. So you have to think about the win-win situation. You want everybody to benefit from meeting you, whether they buy or not. Many of my customers, clients over the years, they didn't buy from me the first time they met me. They bought from me the second time, third time, or they sent me referrals that ended up buying from me. Why? Because I treated them with respect. I didn't push them. I didn't say, no, if you don't buy today, it's over, it's over, it's over. No, like that's not how to do it. So if that's what you thought, if you thought selling was traditional, it's not. The traditional salesperson, especially nowadays, especially online, and people have to get to know you and like you and trust you. Okay. All right. You are the bridge. You have to see yourself as the bridge, right? You are the bridge that takes your prospects from prospect to the destination of their transformation. Okay. That's you. You're the hand right here, right? You're taking them over the bridge. If there's no problem you're solving, it's going to be hard to make the sale. It's going to be hard to make the sale because there's no problem, right? So that's why you don't talk about just the parts of the sale, like the things that you do. You have to talk about how it benefits them. It's how it benefits. That's what they care about. Nobody really cares about your 6-step program. Nobody really cares about any of that. They just want to know how it's going to help them, right? So start with that, and then you can tell them about all that other stuff, but start with exactly how it's going to help them, okay? Let's talk about 5 secrets to becoming a master of influence and persuasion. The most successful people in the world have mastered influence and persuasion. I should just release this book because I have so much information there. I talked about this a lot. The most successful, it's a business, politics, whatever you are doing. If you can master persuasion and influence, the sky's the limit. You can change your life. You can change your family tree, right? If you can master that. Let's talk about building rapport. You probably heard this before. You may have read it before, but let me tell you again, there's nothing more important than building rapport. You have to get to know the people, especially with high ticket sales, because I teach high ticket sales. If you're selling something that's $99, they can go on your website. You don't even need to meet with them. You don't need to talk. It's $99, right? But if you're selling something that's more, or some of you are network marketing, you want to build a team. I built a huge team in network marketing. I still get checks from the company, right? But because I built rapport with a lot of people, okay? So I'm trying to hit everybody's industry here. Okay. So build rapport. What's build rapport? Here it is. It's very simple. You're finding common ground. Right? So Barry lives in Maryland, right? I know Barry lives in Maryland. I used to live in Maryland. I still have a 240 number. When I get on the phone with Maryland with Barry, hey Barry, so what part of Maryland do you live? He tells me, I tell him where I live. And now we have common ground. Now we're talking about it, right? We're building common ground, right? Building common ground. He sells Melaleuca, right? I've actually, my family and I used to buy Melaleuca products way before I actually knew Barry, right? So we can connect on that, right? So again, you want to find common ground. Now, it could also be, it could be as simple as something that's in their background, right? Maybe they have a picture behind them, and you talk about that picture. I remember someone met with me, and they were talking about this picture and the words there and how it resonates with them. And I'm talking, right? And I'm like, I'm getting to like them. And I'm like, oh, that's what I teach. That's what I teach, right? She's talking about something that I did, and it makes me happy that she's acknowledging what I put up there, right? So you want to build common ground. Now, it has to be genuine. Don't make it up. Like, don't say, oh, nice dog. What kind of dog is it? And you don't know anything about dogs. Don't do that. Don't do that, because that, that's not genuine. Okay. Now, number 2, sell yourself. Sell yourself. What do I mean by sell yourself? You have to be 100% sold on what you're doing, right? That's basically what I said before, believe in what you're doing, right? Sell yourself on it. If you wouldn't buy it, don't sell it. If you wouldn't buy it, don't sell it. Right? Like, if you wouldn't get let me see if there's anybody, because I don't just want to mention one person here. Okay. Oh, my good friend Alexis Skurloff James is here. Okay, good to see you. So she is a writer, right? She actually proofread my book. She proofread the book that I haven't released yet, and she's probably saying, you need to release that book, right? She proofread the book that I haven't released yet. All right. Right? She believes in herself 100. She believes in what she does, because she's good at it. She said, Eric, I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't know exactly if it's 20 years. And she's telling me about, and by listening to her, I'm like, wow, she knows what she's talking about. She believes in what she's doing. So I was willing to work with her and buy and spend money with her, because she believed in what she was doing. Okay. Place your prospects' needs above yours, right? Sometimes you have a couple offers, right? You have a couple offers, and you may have, so let's say, okay, let's see, who else can I bring out here? I don't know what you sell, but anyway, you have a couple offers, and one of them pays you more than the other. Don't look at it like what pays me more. Look at it as what helps the client the most. Because what happens is they can buy the cheaper one, but then because they have a good experience, they can come by and buy the more expensive one, right? So what you want to do is you want to put yourself in their shoes and say, what would be best for them? And they will appreciate that. They will really appreciate that, because you're helping them, okay? Number 4 is find a mentor. Find somebody that can help you. Some of you are on companies like insurance companies, for instance, where you have people that bring you on board, or people that train you, right? You have a mentor, and that's good. You want you want to be able to get trained from somebody that has done what you want to do. Don't try and just figure it out because somebody else has already figured it out, right? You're going to waste a lot of time, right? You want to make sure that you find someone that's already done what you want to do. That is crucial. Remember the story I told you earlier? If I didn't meet Brian, like if I meet Brian today, I literally can give him a check for $10,000 because he changed my life. And he thinks he didn't do anything. He said, you were just following me, man. You're just following me. I'm like, yeah, but I was learning, right? So find a mentor. Don't go it alone, right? Like, even if you don't get my coaching program, get something, like learn from somebody. Don't just try to wing it, because trust me, people waste years, decades. I had a lady in my class. She sells tax services, and we're going through all the role plays, and she's telling me, I'm telling her, no, don't ever say that. Don't ever say that. She goes, I wish I met you 25 years ago. Like I have probably lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because she didn't know. She didn't get the coaching, right? So you want to find a mentor, get the coaching. And then next thing is become a storyteller. Now, again, this is one of those things you probably heard before, but let me tell you something. If you're meeting with your prospects and you're not telling stories, you are missing out on a lot of income. Trust me, you're missing out on a lot of income because people buy off emotion, not logic. If you tell someone a story, okay, let me give you an example. Health and wellness, right? Let's say someone says, let's say you're a health and wellness coach, you are a weight loss coach, and you have a client that wants to lose 15 pounds in 4 months, right? Now you can tell them, okay, this is what my program will do. This is how much you'll eat. You can choose your food here. We meet once a week, and you're telling them all these things, and they're like, okay, I don't know if this will work for me. But instead, if you say, you know what, you remind me of a client that I had who was in a similar situation, and this is what we did for him, and he ended up losing 20 pounds in 2 months. He has energy to play with his kids now, right? And you're like, oh my God, I want that. That's what I need. You don't even have to talk about everything else. They're ready. They're ready to sign, right? So you want to become a good storyteller. Now, you want to have multiple stories. You want to tell stories about your clients. You want to tell stories about people that are not even your clients, but people that have benefited from a product that's similar to yours. You want to tell a story of a young guy that's 18 years old. You want to tell a story of an older woman that's 60 years old. You want to tell a story of different people from different backgrounds. You just want to be a great storyteller. And we're going to get into that a little more because I think it's so important to tell stories. So let's talk about relatable stories. I had a client who teaches video marketing, and she works with people that are 50 years or more. So these people, she helps you to create a YouTube channel and to go online and and monetize your business online. And so I said to her, that sounds hard to do because 50, like I'm in my 50s and we didn't grow up with all this stuff. Like that would be hard to do. And she said, no, that's actually easy. I was like, how? She says, let me show you. And she shows me different websites and YouTube channels from people that are 50s, 60s, and 70s. And I'm like, wow. Guess what she did? She made it relatable. She made it relatable. I'm like, oh, I can do this, right? So you want to tell stories that are relatable, right? Your prospects can relate to what you're saying, okay? Stories are indisputable, right? Let's see. Let's go with insurance. Let's go with insurance. I see my good friend Leah Garcia here. All right. So if you tell someone a story about a family who bought insurance from you or someone in your company, and uh, unfortunately, maybe the father died, and you had to give them a check, to be able to pay for the mortgage and all of that stuff. Now, you can't dispute that. You can't dispute that. It's a story. It happened, right? It's indisputable. They're like, wow, right? It's better than saying, like, I remember buying insurance. Like I have like two insurance policies, and I remember buying insurance from this guy. I was talking to him, and he put up a chart. He said, "This is my company. This is the other company. This is another company. This is another company," and I'm like, this is this is not what I really want to see. Like, just tell me about what you do and how you help people. I don't need to see charts and graphs, right? He just commoditized what he does, right? You don't want to commoditize it, right? You want to tell stories. You want to talk about the people you've helped, the people in your business have helped, right? That's what touches the heartstrings when you tell them about different stories of different people and how they were able to use their services. I remember when my dad passed away, and he had life insurance, and my sister said, because I'm the head of the household, like I'm the first son, but my sister lives in Canada where my dad lived, and she was a little nervous to go there because she's like, I want you to handle it because if they don't want to give us the money or something, you can handle it. So anyway, her insurance agent calls her up. She found out that my dad passed, calls her up and said, we're going to have the check ready by a certain date. And before I even got involved, And she goes, wow, like, I didn't know it, like, he said that would happen, but I didn't know it just happened like that, right? Now that's a great story to share that kind of story. I had a client, this happened to her. I called her up, I told her to come pick up a check. Why? So things like that is what makes people know that what you do works. What you do works. All right. And then stories are inspirational. They're inspirational. You can inspire people to take action with stories, right? You can inspire people to take action with stories. I had a client once who she told me that she's never made more than $50,000 before in a year. And the industry she's in, there are people that make 250,000. Right. So I said, why? She said, well, my mom never made that before. My dad never made that before. So I think I'm doing well. Right. I said, it's all in your head. You can make way more. So I'm telling her stories of people I know in her industry that are making 100,000, 200,000, all in that other stuff. And within 6 months, she went over 100,000. And she called me. She said, Eric, I just passed 100,000 in 6 months. Because she believed. She believed, right? She has a business where they have contracts, where you have to sign a contract. I think it's for 6 month contract. And she told me that, and the problem is most people don't like signing contracts that are 6 months long. I said, that's all in your head. That's all in your what I'd sign a contract for a year if it benefits me, right? So when I changed her mindset, she started selling them. And then that's how she made the money, right? Because I told her a simple story, right? So that's why you need to write it down somewhere. I am going to learn at least 3 stories that I'm going to be sharing with almost everybody I speak with. You need to tell more stories. All right, let's talk about the second part. So you meet with someone, you're leading the call, right? And now you want to get into what you do. The last thing you want to do is start talking about what you do. I know it sounds weird, but that's the last thing. You don't want to meet with someone and say, okay, so let's just jump right into it. That is the worst thing you can ever do, right? What you want to do is you want to find out what's important to them. I remember, man, this brings back some memories because my dad passed away and he was like my role model in life, right? But when I went for the interview with Xerox, right? I'm a very ambitious person, and I believe in myself and everything. So I said, Dad, I'm going for this interview. I'm going to get the job, blah, 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 blah. And he said, well, one thing I want you to do is I want you to focus on what questions they ask you. Don't think that you know what to say. Find out what they need to know about you, what they need to hear. I'm like, okay. Like, wow, okay. So when I went there, instead of me just going there to talk, I'm asking the person, like, okay, so what are the qualities of a great salesperson here? And they're telling me. And I'm like, oh, okay, I have those qualities. I'm telling them exactly what they need to hear for me to get the job, right? Why? Because I asked the right questions, right? So I'm going to go through 3 magic questions. I have 10 that I actually talk about in my coaching that I teach my clients, but 3 magic questions that you want to ask everybody. And they don't have to be word for word, okay? Depending on your industry, it may be different, right? So the first one is, what is your number 1 goal? What do you want to achieve? Like, we have a coach here, we have a branding coach, right? So you meet with somebody and they know you're a branding coach. You don't just want to tell them, this is how I can help you. No, say, what would you like to achieve in your business in the next 3 months? And they're telling you, right? Where would you like your business to be? How would you like your website to look? Like, ask those questions so they can paint a picture for you of what they want. And then you can tell them how you can get there. But if you don't know where to go, you're not going to be able to help them get there. Okay. So you want to know, what are your goals, what do you want to accomplish, and just listen. Okay. The next question is, so you want to find out what their problems are, but you don't want to say, what are your problems? So you want to say, so what's stopping you or slowing you down from achieving that goal? This is huge, because now they're going to tell you their problems, right? What's stopping you or slowing you down from achieving that goal? Now they're going to say, with the branding, right? They're going to say, well, I don't really know how to set up my social media. I don't know what colors to use. I don't know, and they're telling you all their problems. Or I tried this and it didn't work. I tried that and it didn't work. You want to know what they tried. So you don't try and tell them that that's what they should do, right? So again, you want to ask that question. And I always say that you don't have to say it word for word, but this one actually it's good to say word for word because it works. What's stopping you or slowing you down? Because you want to know both, right? So you want to ask that question, number 2 question. And then number 3 question is, if something doesn't change in the next 12 months, what are the what's the long-term effects on you and the people and maybe the people, your family or the people affected? Now, that 12 months, you can change it to 3 months, you can change it to 6 months, but this is called a consequence question, a consequence question. And it's advanced. Like most people don't ever ask this. This is what you're doing when you're asking this question. You're telling them that if you don't buy what I'm offering from you, how's it going to hurt you? That's what you're really asking them. If you don't decide to do this, how's it going to hurt you? And then they're going to tell you. So I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you are I see cybersecurity. I see cybersecurity. Okay. So let's say you meet with a company and you want to talk about helping them protecting their assets, their computers against cyber attacks, blah blah, right? And you're finding out about the company, and then you ask them, so what happens if your company is not protected and you have a cyber attack? And like, oh wow, then like if we have a breach, then they may steal some of our intellectual property. Really? Wow, then what happens? Well, wow, they can sell it or they can hack into our programs. And they're telling you all these things that's gonna happen if they don't buy your stuff. And you're like, wow, that'd be horrible if that happened, right? Wow, right? Right. So you want to ask people what happens if you don't get this? It's an advanced question, but it works. Okay. I have a friend, his name is Easy. I use him as an example a lot. Last year, he made $960,000. He's not that ambitious. He didn't make a million, but it was close, right? It was close. So, and he's a realtor, right? Now, most people think, oh, it's a bad economy, interest rates are high, no one's making money, no one's buying. Sometimes he has 3 closings in one day. Sometimes he has, 4 closings in 1 week, right? And why is he able to do that? Because he asks deep questions. So, okay, so you're looking for a 3-bedroom apartment. You said, why do you need a 3-bedroom apartment? Well, because right now I have 3 kids. My daughter has to sleep in the same room with her brothers, and it makes her really uncomfortable at night because she's a teenager now. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. So it's really important for you to get another 3-bedroom. Yeah. How soon? Oh man, like within months if we can. Okay, great. Tell me more. By the way, write that down, folks. Tell me more. That's huge. You're going to get people to give you more information. Tell me more. Then he says, another thing is we live in a bad neighborhood and, someone just got shot, a couple months ago, and I don't want that to happen to my kids. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah, we definitely don't want that to happen to your kids. You're writing all this down. Then you ask the question, what happens if you're not able to find a place and you have to stay here for the next year? They're like, oh, wow. Well, first of all, my daughter, I already promised my daughter that we're gonna get a bigger place. Really? Yeah. And also, God forbid, they fight out there or they shoot up the house or like now they're telling you all these things that they don't want. So now when you find the perfect place, the 3-bedroom in a nice area within the price point, and you tell them, and the person says, it looks good, but maybe we need to hold off for a couple months. You remind them about this question. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said that you wanted to find a place in the next couple months because your daughter was uncomfortable, staying in the same room with her brothers, right? And they'll be like, yeah. Yeah, and I thought you said that it's unsafe, that anything can happen at any time. So do you really want to wait like 6 months? Then they're gonna say, no, let's just go ahead and do it. Now, here's the thing. What you have just done is you have helped your client at a high level. What you did, not only are you helping them, you could have even saved their lives because you have the skill. You have the skill, right? This is a skill where you give people power. You're giving them power to make the right decision. And some people, one lady asked me, and I'm going to say this because one lady asked me in a class once. She said, "Eric, isn't that like manipulation?" I said, "If you're helping your client and they win and you win, how are you manipulating anybody? You're not manipulating anybody. You're helping your client. You win, they win, everybody involved wins. No, what it is you are a leader. You are leading them to the place where they need to go anyway. And this can be, you can use this in any industry. Alexis works with people who write books like me, right? That they write books, but they don't publish it, like me, right? My second book, right? I'm not publishing it. So she has to be a leader. And she has to tell them that, well, you said that you want to publish it. Why aren't you doing it? Right? She has to be the leader. So questions like that shows that you're a leader and they will thank you for it. They will thank you. I've had clients, I have people that I've worked with that send me gifts and all kinds of stuff. And my kids say, wait, Dad, we want to do what you do. Like you get gifts and they pay you too? Yeah, because I help people out. There's a lady that spoke on my stage in North Carolina. When we first started, we didn't have transportation. Now we have the bus that takes everybody around. But the first one, we didn't have transportation. So she had to take an Uber. So, and we weren't in the same hotel we are now, right? And it was far away. It was an Airbnb far away. And it was raining. And she said, I'll just take an Uber. I said, no, I'll take you. I'm not gonna let you go out. She said, no, it's okay, Eric, I got you. I said, no, I'll take you. So we're driving, it's pouring rain and everything. I get her there, drop her off, pick her up in the morning, all of that stuff. And she says to me, when it was all done, she said, it's amazing the things you do that you don't have to do. Like, I'll never forget this experience. Like, it's not part of the package for me to be driving you around, right? But because I took that extra step, she'll never forget. She'll never forget. And it's funny because her name is Kenyetta. I might as well say her name because she tells the story. We put her picture on a banner, on a large banner, and I was at the what is it called? The National Speakers Association event in Colorado, and she was on the picture. A lady sees the picture and says, "Oh, I know her," and calls her. I forgot her name. She's on our website. She speaks about personal care, taking care of yourself. She said, "I know her." So she says, "Eric, I'll think about your stage," and then she calls Kenyetta, and Kenyetta said, "Oh, it's the best experience I've ever had." And she's talking about everything that happened and the business that she got and everything like that. And then this lady calls me back and said, "Eric, I'm ready to go. Let's do this." Now, when I was driving her around in the rain, I wasn't thinking that, a couple of years later, someone's going to call her and say, "What do you think about the experience?" I wasn't thinking about that. I was just trying to help her out, right? So that's why I said, you need to focus on the client, and your success will come even greater than you ever thought it could if you just focus on the client. All right, so let's keep going. All right, I mean, an hour in it, so we're almost done. All right, so now you make your offer. So you make your offer, but you make your offer based on the answers to the questions, right? Right. You're selling a house, you're selling a car, whatever it is. You're selling. Let's do coaching because we have coaches here, right? You're selling your coaching program, right? So you found out what they need. You're recommending it. You're asking the right questions, and then you make your offer. Okay. So once you do it in a logical, it's a logical sequence. And if you do it right, a lot of people will buy. Now, will some people say no? Of course, of course. I don't preach that, you know, everybody will say yes, because some people may not be able to afford it, whatever. But you're going to have a much higher ratio of people buying, right? If you follow the system. And I'm going to get into a little bit of the system later. All right. And it works for everything, for healthcare, business opportunity, whatever. People say, well, Eric, you don't understand. I'm in network marketing. It's different here. No, it's not. I've been in network marketing. It's the same principles. It's selling. You're selling the product or you're selling the opportunity you're selling, right? It's all selling. All right. So sell like a doctor. Some of you have heard me say this, and I'll say it again. When you go to a doctor's office, a hospital or whatever clinic, and the doctor walks in and says, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and prescribe an antibiotic for you. It's working for a lot of people, and I think it'll work for you. And he signs it and says, and then we can follow up with you in a couple of weeks. And they walk out. You're going to be thinking, this is malpractice. He didn't ask me one question, and he just prescribing. So most entrepreneurs, what they do is they commit business malpractice every day. Business malpractice every day. They're prescribing things. They're telling people to buy things that they don't even know if they need it, right? So what you want to do is sell like a doctor. A doctor is gonna say, "So what's going on with you? Yeah, tell me about what's going on with you. Okay, when did this start? How do you feel? Where's the pain?" They're asking all these questions to find out what it is your problem is, right? And then based on that, they're going to diagnose and say, okay, this is what's probably wrong. So my sister is a doctor, and she says sometimes you don't know what's wrong, but you have an idea, right? So you treat one thing that could be wrong, and if that's not it, then we'll try the other one, right? But you want to narrow it down, and then you prescribe the medicine, right? Now that's a logical sequence, and that's how you sell, a logical sequence. Okay. Now let's talk about overcoming objections real quick. Sometimes people fall apart when they get an objection. Now, objection is when someone says, "I'm not ready to buy yet," or "It's not time yet," or they ask questions. Objections are the best things you can ever get, because once someone gives you an objection, then you know what they're thinking about. It's better than someone saying, "Yeah, I'll call you back and let you know." No, you want the objection. Someone says, "Yeah, you know what? Let's see, what else do we have?" Okay, so single mom, I believe it's coaching or something like that. Anyway, okay. So the person says, "Yeah, I'm a single mom and I can't afford this. Like a single mom can't afford this," right? So first thing you do anytime someone gives you any kind of objection, you accept it. You smile. You don't look flustered. Don't look upset, right? People are smiling and they give an objection. No, it's okay, right? It's okay. So you say, okay, whatever they say, okay, I understand what you're saying. I get it, right? But then you ask them a question. Aside from that, is there anything stopping you from buying this? What we call that alienating that objection. You want to find out if that's the only problem, right? Aside from that, aside from the money, right? And then they say, no, that's it. It's the money. So now you know that's the only thing, right? Right? Now you know that's the only thing. So what you do is you focus on the benefits that you shared before. The last thing you want to do is try to argue. The last thing you want to do is get defensive. No, always focus on how you are helping the person. Sometimes they just need to hear it again. That's how you overcome that objection. It's not like something magical you say. No, it's if you ask the right questions, then you'll be able to do it. But if you didn't, it'll be hard for you, right? So that's it. Another objection is I have to think about it. People say, well, I have to think about it. And then most people, when they hear that, they're like, oh, it's over. It's over. They have to think about it. But what you should do is you should say, okay, I get it. So what do you need to think about? Is it the money? Is it something else? Like, what is it? So now they'll tell you exactly what it is, and you can address that. right? So I talk about 2 here in my coaching. We go through a whole bunch of them, so I can't go through everything today. But generally, when you have an objections, you don't want to change your demeanor in any way. You don't want to act like, okay, you're upset or mad or whatever. No, you listen to it and then you address it, okay, based on what you were talking about before. All right, so real quick, some people ask me if I'm going to talk about this, so I figured I'll throw it in. Okay, real quick. Some people say, well, Eric, I'm not comfortable selling high ticket offers. Like, I'm not comfortable selling an offer that's a 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000. Like I don't think anybody will buy. Well, first of all, people will buy. But why do you sell it? Your clients get a better result because they prioritize your offer. Now, some of you sell low ticket offers, especially if you're like a network marketing company and you sell their products. That's fine. That I'm not like, there's nothing wrong with that. You can be very successful at doing that. Right now, I'm talking to the coaches here that want to go full time in your business. And you know that if you keep selling these offers for $150, you'll never go full time, right? You'll never go full time. So I'm talking to you, okay? So your clients get a better result because, look, when someone pays, they pay attention. They pay attention. They work at it. They do the homework, right? They make the sacrifices, right? But if it's free or if it's cheap, they may not do anything, okay? You make much more money, obviously. You have less clients and you can serve your clients at a higher level when you're charging more, right? I know someone in here that did that, but I'm not going to say it because I never told her I would. So I don't want to put her, I don't want to say it. So, but there's somebody here that had that kind of issue where she had low ticket offers, wasn't making a whole lot, but then she started making, I taught her how to sell high ticket and she started making much more money. Okay. And then charging higher prices shows the true value of your offer. It shows the true value of your offer. I was speaking to a gentleman, this must be a year ago, about speaking on my stage, and I told him how much it is, and he said, "Do you have like another offer where like I don't get all of that, I just get part of it, and it's cheaper?" I said, "No." I said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I have a premium offer, and when you are able to get the premium offer, you'll get everything. But I'm not going to, make the cheaper ones and all of that. No, I'm not going to do that." Right. So the price you put on your offer shows the value of your offer. It shows the value of your offer. Right. If it's so cheap, they'll look at it as cheap. If your favorite car, like my favorite car is a Bentley. I love Bentleys. Okay. And if you came out to me and said, "Eric, I have a Bentley I want to give you," I'm like, "Oh, great, thank you." And then I said, "So how much did it cost you?" And he said, it cost me about $1,000. I am not sitting in that Bentley because that's a fake Bentley. That's not real. That's not real, right? That's not real, right? So when you tell people how much your offer is and it's so cheap, they in their head they're thinking, "Can this actually work?" You're thinking you're helping them out. They're thinking, "I don't even know if this will work," right? So that's one of the reasons why you want to sell high ticket. Okay. Okay, I did that already. Okay, so 3 ways to sell high ticket offers. Find out, again, major pains, right? What are people, what is the biggest pain that they're going through and how can you solve it, right? If the pain is big enough, they'll pay whatever they need to pay to be able to, for you to be able to resolve that problem. Tell stories of other people who have benefited, get testimonials, okay? And then create irresistible offers by adding bonuses, done for you products, experiences, excursions, things of that nature, okay? All right, so that's what I want to share with you in terms of the value for today. I do want to let everybody know on this call that I do have a coaching program, Compassionate Closer coaching program. If you go to successwitheric.com, work with me, you'll see a whole bunch of testimonials. So I've helped a lot of people. And basically what I help people do is generate more income. Okay, so you'll close more deals, generate more income. You'll have a lot more confidence. If you think this is good, imagine meeting with me, I think 6 or 7 times, where we go through this And then we get into the role play sessions with each industry, each person, right? Help you overcome objections, okay? Go from selling low ticket to high ticket, and then just creating a cash injection into your business. One of my clients never sold before. She made $27,000 in 1 week selling her high ticket offer. And she said, I never thought I could make 10,000 in a month. Never, ever thought, because it was a mindset block. She didn't believe it until I showed her, okay? So real quick, I'm gonna go through how it works with my coaching program, and whoever is interested in learning more can meet with me. I'm meeting people for the next 2 days. It starts next week. It's on Tuesdays at 6 p.m., okay? My 6-week coaching program, we meet on Zoom, so it's just like this. It's all recorded, so if you can't make it for every one of them, it's okay. I do recommend you do, but if you can, it's okay. So let me tell you about the role play sessions, because this is very important. When I teach, I don't just teach like a lecture. Like right today, it's like a lecture because it's just it's a master class. But after I teach, we get into each person's business and we say, okay, so Barry, let me talk to you about how we can implement this in your business, right? I said, Tolu, this is how, these are the questions you should ask in your business, right? So so we go through each person. That's why I don't have huge classes, because I want to make sure we talk about it. And then when let's say Barry and I are talking, he's asking me questions. I say, okay, tweak that question. Don't ask it that way. Ask it this way. Okay. Or maybe you don't want to ask that question yet. You want to ask this question next, right? And then we go through that. Let's say you want to close the sale, because I'm going to teach you how to close, what to say, right? I'm going to say, don't say it that way. Say it this way. Okay. And then we have a question and answer session at every time. So it's about 2 hours each time. We have question and answers. And by the way, when I'm answering somebody else's question, you're learning too. Because some people say, well, can it be like one-to-one? No, group is actually better, because we're all learning from each other. Okay, you're all learning from each other. Another thing I do is I give you my scripts. So I've created these scripts over the last 20 years, right? The first one is called the Entrepreneur Top Earner Sales Script, which tells you word for word what to say when you're talking to your prospects. Okay, and it's very detailed, because like I said, I've sold a lot of products, and it has examples of insurance, financial, a lot of different examples, right, of what to do, what to say. A lot of times we just don't know what to say, or we say the wrong things, right? So I'm going to give you that. You also get the Unfair Advantage Objection Handling Manual, which tells you exactly how to handle those pesky objections, right? Some people say, well, I have to talk to my spouse. That's a valid objection, but there's a way to not overcome it, but there's a way to actually tell them what they need to know to realize that, yes, their spouse needs to know about it, but you should be the one to tell the spouse, right? Well, why don't we get him on the line? Why don't we set another appointment? So because there are certain things you don't want to give up control of yourself, right? Because, when they say they want to tell a spouse, they're not going to tell the spouse what you told them. They're going to say, okay, honey, there's this thing that this lady was talking about. It's $3,000. Should we get it? Yeah, the spouse goes, no, we're not going to get that. We're not interested, right? So I teach you how to do it. And then also following up. Sometimes you just don't know how to follow up. Like, if you don't know how to follow up, you will almost never make a sale on a follow-up. You will almost never. You'll just be calling, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Or I don't want to bug you, but are you like, you just sound like you'll sound like a desperate little kid. I don't know how else to say it. But if you know what to say, you sound like a competent person that knows exactly what they're doing. And that can work out for anybody on this line. You don't have to be an extrovert. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be obnoxious. Any personality here today, I guarantee you that you can use the same system the same way, okay? So this is it, basically. Let's see. So you get the Compassionate Closer Coaching 6-week program, right? The scripts. Now I added something to it. I took a course once called Zero Rejection Marketing. It was put together by these gentlemen, three gentlemen who, you know, they made like millions and millions online and in business. And it was such a powerful, powerful program. I think it's like five videos or something. It was so powerful that I decided to include it in this offer. So I give it to you, and that helps you to be able to sell more offers, to be able to market your product. By the way, one thing I didn't tell you is, in addition to the Compassionate Closer sales program, I actually will have another class for you talking about marketing, because marketing and sales go hand in hand. So you'll actually learn how to market your product. Like when I post online, it's like how can I put it? I don't just do it randomly. There's a point to everything I do. Everything, right? Everything, right? It's not, you don't just want to post randomly. No, there's certain things you need to post for people to get value. There's certain videos you need to post where you're going to put a link in there for people to click on the link, right? There's a system to everything. And one thing I do, for those of you that have ever bought anything from me before, I go all out, right? I go all out for you. You message me and say, you know, I need more help. I'll do it. I want to genuinely help you. I don't just want to take your money and say, okay, it's done, bye. No, I'm not like that, right? So you have that from me. All right. So I have tons and tons of testimonials, obviously. Successwitheric.com. Click on work with me. These are, you know, a lot of people I've helped over the years, right? You can trust him with your business. You know, like, oh, you know, if you want to learn sales, the compassionate way, Eric's your guy. A lot of people that I've helped over the years to change their business. And some of them even changed their life. Some of them are even here right now. And that's a sign. When you see people that paid me to be in a program and they keep coming back, that means they keep getting benefit from me, right? That's a sign right there, right? So yeah, so it helped a lot of people. So basically, if you're interested in my coaching or you want to learn more about it, then go to meetwithericf.com. Call if you can put that in the chat. Meetwithericf.com. But you have to meet with me in the next couple of days because I only have a few spots available. And like I said, I don't do big classes. I do small classes. Yeah, so meet with me. We'll go over it. And then even if it's not a right fit, I'll probably still help you anyway, somehow. You know, I'll probably give you some tips anyway. But just click on that and meetwitheric.com. Schedule a call in the next couple of days, and then we will go from there. All right. So let's see. So real quick, two options. Number one, option one, you can just keep doing what you're doing and say, hey, Eric, I don't need anything else. You're good. That's good. That's fine. That's perfectly okay. Just do trial and error. But the thing is, you will lose time and you will lose sales. And that's just the way it is, because sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. The things I teach you, I didn't know at one point. I didn't know, right? And you're like, wow, I just didn't know. So if you want to, if you're saying, okay, enough is enough, I need to know, then join us, because you will learn a lot. Okay. Option two is take the easy way, get my help, step-by-step guidance, no guessing, no stressing. You'll make more sales and you'll make more money. I can't tell you how much you'll make. I don't know. Some people make tens of thousands. Some people make an extra $1,000. But here's the thing. You learn a skill that you can use for the rest of your life. Month after month, year after year. Now you have the scripts. Now you have the system. Now, like, you literally can put it on your computer, and when you're meeting with somebody, you know what to say, exactly what to say to everybody, right? So you have that. Okay. All right. So this is for people that are tired of losing sales, people that want to learn the skills of leading a successful call without being pushy, people who are open to learning about a proven system to close more deals and help more people. That's what it's for. And I always say that it's not for people that are looking for a magic bullet, right? That don't want to do any work, because you still have to do the work. You still have to meet people, right? But I teach you what to do, right? I don't like working with negative, skeptical people, because it never works out for them, right? You meet with someone and like, yeah, Eric, I've tried like 16 of these before, they never work. I'm not signing you up. I am not signing you up because I'll be number 17, right? So you got to be positive to be successful at anything. You have to have the right attitude, right? You have to have the right attitude. And then there's people that are not serious about making money. Like some people literally it's a hobby for them. For me, I teach you how to make money. It's not like I won't teach you how to get more likes or hearts because they don't buy groceries. You know what I mean? They don't buy groceries, right? So don't focus on the wrong thing. And I know a guy, he has 137,000 followers on Instagram, just not making any money. And he wants more followers. I'm like, why? Learn how to make money. Why don't you learn how to help a few people and you make money instead of I just want likes and hearts and nothing. Well, no. So anyway, that's what I help you do. All right, so we are done. I'm going to stop sharing and yeah, I'm willing to answer questions. If you have questions about the sales that I talked about, if you have questions about my coaching, whatever it is, the only question I won't answer is how much is it? Because we have to meet for me to see exactly where you fit, and we'll talk about that. And then that's another thing I teach people. You have to find out what people want, find out how you're going to help them, and then you tell them how much it is. I think so that I'm not going to share. So so don't ask that. You'll know when you meet with me. All right. Any questions? Any questions? It looks like it seems like everybody stayed to the end. That's awesome. Sometimes people have to jump out. Okay. Anybody? Put your hand up. No, don't be shy. I know somebody has a question. Don't be shy. Okay. Okay. Well, hold on, Carl. 1 second. Anybody else? Anybody else has a question? No question. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Go ahead, Carl.
Okay, so now you're an expert at selling, obviously. So were you ever like not confident at selling?
Is that you're trying to call me out? Yeah. Yeah, I was horrible when I started. Like when I tell you my story, it's real. Like I'm not making it up at all. Look, growing up, I just wanted to I'm one of those people that just I want to please everybody, right? Growing up. And I felt that by selling, I'm taking from people, right? So I was so uncomfortable. I thought that it was the worst job ever, right? I told my dad I'm gonna quit before they fire me, right? Because I thought it wasn't for me, right? But then I learned that you can actually help people. Then I was like, man, I can do this all day. And it's a learned skill. Everybody on this line today could be great at selling your offer. Not good, but great. Why? Because it's a learned skill. You learn it and you get better at it, right? It's like speaking. It's a learned skill. I was horrible at speaking. That's another story. That's another story. But let's talk about sales, right? So yeah, it's a learned skill. I was horrible at first. I got better because I kept doing it. And then I started teaching it, right? So one thing I do is if you're in my coaching program, what I do is I research your industry. Before you get on the calls, I know so much about it, and then I apply what I know to so I can help you to actually make money with your business. But that's a great question. Great question. Anybody else? Any questions? No questions. No questions. Okay. Let me look in the chat. Okay. Okay, yeah, no problem, Christina. Yeah, so that's what I want to share with everybody today. Again, if you want to be a part of the coaching program or you have questions, meet with ericf.com. And if nobody has any questions, I'll let everybody go. So I'll see you at when's the next event? I guess I have Thursday, for those of you that want to be in the talk about your business on Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. This is the same Zoom. Come on by and talk about your business. So appreciate everybody being here. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure to be here with you tonight. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Eric,
Have a
Yes.
good evening.
Yes.
can I
Bye-bye.
just ask quick question?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Your slide sharing, is that the last one? Is the three magic things? That's the
magic
last
questions.
one?
Is that the last slide?
Yeah, last slide from your presentation.
No, not at all.
Because I think it stops sharing.
Oh, you guys didn't see the rest of them?
For as far as I know, it was 3 magic.
Wait.
Come
Carl,
on.
did you guys see the rest of the slides? I did a lot of slides after that.
I saw the slides moving.
You saw them? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. No, that wasn't the last slide. I had a lot of
No.
slides. Maybe it was your computer or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
No
Yeah.
problem. No problem.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, good to see you, Tolu. Are you where are you, Tolu? Where are you?
I'm in Abuja, Nigeria.
Abuja. Okay. So I'm Nigerian too, by the way. I don't know if you know that.
Yes, I pieced that together.
You
Sometimes.
pieced that together?
One of the-
Yeah. Good. So what time is it over there? It's probably like 1 or something.
It's 12:30.
12:30. Good. Well, that you see, that's commitment right there. Commitment. Some people are like,
Thank you.
it's 7:30. It's too late for me. I'm like, please, you're not serious. But good to see you. Good to see you in person.
Good to see you too. Thank you. Thank you so much. Lots of value. Thank you. I
No
appreciate
problem.
it.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Take care, Carl. Thank you, Carl. Bye-bye.
All right, no problem. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.